What's up, YouTube? How's everyone doing this lovely day? This is your boy Reg in the building. The album I am going to talk about today is the New Power Generation, aka unofficial Prince album, New Power Soul. This came out in 1998 under the NPG label. Singles albums came out with was The One and Come On. Excuse me. The producers, it says the New Power Generation, but it's pretty much a Prince production, which I'm going to explain that in a minute. Only guest appearances include Dougie Fresh, Larry Graham of Sly and the Family Stone, Graham Central Station fame, and Shaka Khan. What else? What is it? Yeah, man. So technically, to continue on with my Prince discussions, I admit I kind of fell back a little bit after the Emancipation review because that review took forever to really pinpoint. So that was on me. And so when I was doing like a CD recap, I found this album. And I almost forgot I had this album, to be real with you. I almost forgot I had this album. So I was just like, you know what? I can just continue off this one because technically, even though it says New Power Generation, a lot of diehard Prince fans say this is like an unofficial de facto Prince album. Because like everyone knows the New Power Generation was like Prince's band after the Revolution, and to an extent after the Love Sexy Band too. And so, some of the prominent members include Rosie Gaines, Maete, which eventually became his first wife, Sonny T, Levi Cesar Jr., Tony M, and so on and so on. And so they pretty much, they first came, with the Diamonds and Pearl album, which that was a cool album. Then, of course, the Love Sexy album. And then y'all should know that Prince was going through his stuff with Warner Brothers. And so what ended up happening was that he was working on the album with NPG pretty much and stuff like that. And so was like trying to like appeal more to like an urban audience. So that's where like their first album, Gold Nigga, came out, which that was a very dope album, to be real with you. But here's the thing. With that album, you can't really get that album in stores. You only have to get it like when you were in like in one of his concerts around that time, and he sold it with a ticket. And Prince was very revolutionary when it came to that, like selling his albums with the concert tickets too and stuff like that. Yeah, man. So that album, Gold Nigga, was pretty hot. It was pretty cool, very funky album, to be real with you. And so fast forward to 1995, pretty much certain members left, and they were working with Prince on the Gold Experience album, and also they came out with the Exodus album from 1995 too. Whereas I never actually heard Exodus. I heard bits and pieces of it, and so again around this time too, like more members like Michael Bland, Sonny T left, and so towards like the late 90s, Prince was pretty much having more of involvement with a New Power Generation project. So that's how he had his album cover right here, and I really do not like this album cover. I can already keep it real with you. This shit definitely looks like a trashy video game promo from like the 90s or whatever. Yeah, man. This is just a very interesting. And I'm not going to talk about all the tracks off this album because I'm going to be real with you. When I first heard this album, I did not like it, to keep it a buck with y'all, because I just felt like Prince. I love Prince, but his shit around like the late 90s, like Chaos and Disorder, the Rave album from 1999, which I have to talk about eventually too. It was kind of. It's like some tracks he was just phoning it in. Like he's always like a hard worker, but at the same time, it's like some tracks I was just like, yeah. It was like you just threw certain tracks together and whatnot. But now re-listening to this album now, it's not as bad as I remembered it, but it's pretty inferior. To keep it real with you, give me 1 second. Hold on. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's pretty inferior. To keep it a buck with you and stuff like that. And now it's like not all of it is pretty inferior because some of the production definitely has like a more funkier tone compared to some of his other albums from the 90s too. I love some of the horns on this album and shit like that, you know. But it's just like with this album too, it was just like a lot of songs that could have been better and whatnot. But you know what? Like I said, I would take this album any day over the fucking Rave album, and hell, maybe even over Chaos and Disorder. But yeah, with certain tracks off this album I want to talk about. Like I said, I'm not talking about all the tracks. I liked New Power Soul. That was like a little nice opener, nice little funky soulful opener and stuff like that. And then you get to Mad Sex, which Mad Sex was like very weird beat, very weird sound for Prince and stuff like that. Yeah, man, like I said, very funky and shit. Give me 1 second. Yeah. What else? I didn't care for Until You're in My Arms Again. I didn't really not care for that track. The Push It Up track with Dougie Fresh, Larry Graham, and Shaka Khan. It was pretty much Jam of the Year to Jam of the Year in 1998. Because I know they mentioned Jam of the Year a lot. So, I mean, that was okay. It was pretty okay and stuff like that. Like, I never expected Prince and Dougie Fresh to really be in a track together. But Dougie Fresh, he's like one of those artists that, you know, he does well with a lot of people and shit. So, Freaks on This Side was okay. The One. Oh my god, that's probably my favorite track off that album. That's like a lot of people's favorite tracks from what I looked up. The One. That to me is like it reminds me of Thieves in the Temple from the what's the album? Graffiti Bridge soundtrack, which that soundtrack is pretty underrated, if you ask me. But with like a 1998 twist to it and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I love the production that he did on that. And Wasted Kisses, that was pretty cool. I like that track too. That was a very underrated joint. Yeah, man, like I said, this album is not really that much to talk about. It was just like, yeah, Prince just helping out the new power generation and things of that nature. So overall, this album to me is decent. It's not like the greatest thing. It's not like the greatest thing since Sliced Bread, to keep it real with you. And like I said, just because I'm a Prince fan, I'm not always liking everything that he puts out. So I'm just grateful I have this album. Because like I said, this album usually, it usually goes for like a lot of money. But I managed to get this at a good deal on Amazon and stuff like that. If I'm not mistaken, I think I got this on Amazon. Yeah, man. So, and of course, this album's out of print. So if y'all can find this album, must have in your collection. This is New Power Generation, aka Prince, with New Power Soul. Must have in your collection. And thank y'all so much for watching and stuff like that. I know like I've been slacking off on the pre-recorded videos, and there's a reason behind that because I'm in the process of trying to get like a new, I'm trying to get like a new webcam. So for the time being, I'm gonna like stick to my webcams for like mostly live discussions, because like when I was doing the pre-recorded videos like a couple of days ago, my webcam would literally freeze up on me when I was recording, and I did not even realize till after this video. So I was kind of hated it, and it was like a long review too. So I just thought like I was gonna try it out with this one because since this is not really that much to talk about, I was like, you know what, let me just take my chance. So hopefully by next month I can get this whole webcam stuff sorted out because so far this tablet is working fine. So, but yeah, that's enough about my personal life. Hope everyone has a good weekend and stuff like that. Peace.